Hi guys, and welcome back to At Home with Elisa. Today is the final day of my garden maintenance routine. So I brought in a garden maintenance routine recently because I realized that I was falling behind in my garden maintenance and I just didn't have a schedule. So I created a schedule and today's the last day, and today is for tidying up, for mulching, and also for deadheading. So if you aren't familiar with my garden, I have a lot of flowers and I also have a lot of veggies. The flowers obviously need quite a bit of deadheading and maintenance. I just recently had a period where I actually wasn't in the garden for a few weeks. I was away and I need to definitely get it all under control. Today is a beautiful day. It's already 20 degrees, so it's about 6:30 in the morning. It's 20 degrees and the sun is just coming up. And it is just glorious out here. I love coming out early in the morning before everybody else is awake. Oh, my husband's already up and gone, but before everyone else is awake and just getting stuck into the garden. It's just so peaceful. So for today, I actually don't have a lot of mulching to be done. I'm still constructing some garden beds, but I do have quite a bit of deadheading of my flowers, and I also have just a little bit to tidy up as well. Okay, so let's have a closer look at what I've got to do today. So the first thing that I really want to do is take some of these sweet peas which I've been saving from seed. These are a Valerie Harrod. I've still got a bloom I can show you. Come here, come here. So that is a Valerie Harrod sweet pea from Mr. Fothergill Seeds, and you can see all those seed pods. Now some of them have gone a bit yucky. We've had a lot of hot rainy weather, so a lot of humid weather, but what I'm going to do is try and save some of these seed pods and see if they become viable. They're not quite dry enough to what I would normally like. However, I don't have much option because we're set for a week of rain in about 2 days. So I'm going to take some of these and see if I can save them. And the next thing that I need to do is I have yarrow, which is also called ancilla. I need to cut it back. I do believe that this probably won't end up staying in this garden bed. This is a spent flower. You can use these for dried flowers if you pick them before this. I have picked a few already, but I need to actually just cut them back. I've got a few plants just here in the one garden bed. As you can see, here's a different variety. So some of these, focus, yeah. Some of these are still actually flowering quite nicely. So this is sort of a newer flower, this is an older flower, and this is a really spent flower. So I need to cut some of those back and just deadhead them. I'll cut them back to the base because I'm happy for them to sort of be controlled a little bit at this point, because I think I'll probably end up using these in a landscaping project. They won't stay in the garden bed because they multiply so much, and honestly I'm just having a little bit of trouble controlling them, so I'll give those a nice trim back. And the last thing that I need to do is actually just go back and deadhead. Look, there's another one of those yarrow plants there. But I need to go back and I need to deadhead all of my roses. So I gave them a good feed in my last video and I should get a nice new lot of growth. However, I need to just make sure that they're all tidied up because at the moment they're a little bit crazy. Look at this one. This is an Olivia Austin and look at the petal count. It's a David Austin rose and it's gorgeous. You'll notice in the background here I have, this is a thing called black spot. It's a fungal disease. Ooh. It's a fungal disease, and basically we just have really, really hot and humid summers. And our hot and humid summers just make this an ongoing battle. So you can treat it, but honestly, there's so many products on the market and I haven't found one that actually treats it well enough in our area. It's just something that I choose to put up with. It's nothing that will end up killing a rose, but it is something that obviously makes it look a little bit on the yuck side. So there's some more there. But that's okay because it doesn't actually impact the blooms. But when it comes to black spot, you want to make sure that you try and take off all the black spot, which I will do today. And I want to put it into a bucket and it basically goes straight into a plastic bag and into the bin. It's not to be composted because it'll spread disease. And don't let the black spot leaves fall onto the ground. If they fall onto the ground, it becomes soil borne and will constantly be an issue. And look at this beauty. This is called an RSL rose, and it is just one of my favourites. And there's one of my other favourites, still going. They usually finish blooming by now. So yes, time to get stuck into the rose garden. As you can see, I still haven't finished my pathways, but I'm getting there. Okay guys, so I've just finished up. It's about 7:30, so about an hour later, and it is going to be a hot one today. It's so hot and humid already. We had a really hot day yesterday, and I dare say today's going to be really, really bad as well. So I'm so glad that I got out early and got this done. Let's have a look and see what we've got. So this is my little gardening basket that I bring with me everywhere, and as you can see, I've got quite a few of my sweet pea seeds. So again, these are the Valerie Harrod, which is one of my favourite. And let's see, can you hear the rattle? If you can hear a rattle, it means that the seeds are right to be harvested. So I've definitely got rattles. And as I was ripping down that big vine, there were so many rattles in there, it was funny. But yes, definitely rattles and ready to be saved. So that is excellent. So they'll go towards next year's, which I actually start sowing again in March. So that is all clear now. My arbor is clear. I'm actually thinking that I might put some beans up there because we can grow beans at this point. Excuse the bag of potting mix on the ground there. That's actually just to stop the lace monitor from getting in underneath the fence. So I have my bean arbor. I will sow that. We've got some rain coming this week, and I will sow that and hopefully have some beans before the season's out. And just before I show you my garden, look at the beautiful Eugene. He is our handsome little rooster, and he is just gorgeous, and that's Poppy in the background. And Chucky boy doesn't like the rocks. But let's get back to the garden. Okay, so my yarrow has been cut nice back. Some of it I actually left, and some of the other plants I left it a little bit longer. But as you can see, I've got an ostromerium here, and it was actually just not getting enough light. So I will be transplanting this out. But the reason it's died back is, one, because it does die back a little bit, but it's died back so much more because the yarrow was blocking all the sunlight. And also my daisy was getting crushed by it as well. So it definitely won't be staying in this garden long term. I'll be putting it in a landscaping project. And then this one here, I just cut back all of the dying ones and left some colour because I don't really have a lot of colour in my garden at the moment. And I just continued up the garden bed because I do have quite a few of the yarrow, but I just have to show you this one thing. This here is my first ever lupin flower. So I started these seeds last year. They're quite slow, but that is my first ever lupin flower, and I'm absolutely in love with it. So I'm already trying to work out how I can get more lupins in here. And then I came along and trimmed up all of my roses. This one here is actually an ebb tide. Even though it looks hot pink at the moment, it's actually a purple flower. And whenever you're actually pruning back roses, if you want to cut off, like for example, if this is the dead head, you want to cut it off and trace back down to the first leaf that's got 5 leaflets on it. So 1, 2, 3, you need 5. So you trace it all the way back down to the stem till it's got 5, and that's where you cut. So obviously I left some flowers on there because look at these. These are native stingless bees, and they absolutely love my garden. So they're always in the garden, but there's so many in there. So I do like to leave some of them. That obviously wasn't dead, so I just left it there and the bees can enjoy it. So yes, when it comes to the roses, you want to cut back off when you trim it. So here's an example here, I'll show you. So this one dies. I'd go back to see this here. That doesn't have 5 leaflets on it. So you go back down to the next one. It's got 5 leaflets on it. So I would trim just here. So you've got 5 leaflets on the next leaf. So that is where I would deadhead that one. People have asked me how I deadhead my flowers, and that's how I do roses. And as for the black spot, I did leave quite a few of it here because honestly it's just on all of the roses. We have really hot, humid summers. I'm already sweating and it's like 7:30 in the morning, so I will leave a lot of that black spot. I did cut back some of it, but honestly, I don't think that you can get rid of it. I'm yet to see where I can actually get rid of it all. I fed these roses only a week ago and I have got so much new growth coming through, so I'm really thinking that I'll get a lovely flush of flowers just with that food that they've just received, so I'm looking forward to that. So thank you so much for joining me on day 4 for the last and final day of my garden maintenance routine. I plan on keeping this up going week to week from now on, and I will take you on the adventures of when I am planting new plants, etc. But that is new garden maintenance routine, and I'm hoping if I can get out early enough of a morning, it should be cool enough for me to be able to work in the garden for an hour before the heat of the day kicks in. So that's my summer plan, and in winter I will actually be doing the same thing, but I'll probably do my gardening in the middle of the day. I have the luxury to be able to change some of my routine up while I work from home, so it does allow me a little bit of extra freedom, which is good. But thank you so much for joining me in my garden. If you have liked this video, please comment, like, or subscribe. All of those would be great. It really does help my channel, and I hope that you can join me next time. Thank you. Bye.